your official printing partner as well. Order products and learn more about what Banyan Printing can do for your business at banyanonline.com or call 561-586-6220.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill, when your friend bets against your team and the friendship. Or choose chill because you're drinking Coors Light with your buddy. Coors Light, choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
As market dynamics change, the quality of service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Partner-owned since 1923, Anshin Accountants and Advisors take time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver value where others can't. Visit anchin.com.
ESPN West Palm is highlighting the best performance of the week, presented by Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Every week, a different team will be featured across ESPN 106.3 and ESPN West Palm Play. The winning performance receives $500, courtesy of Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Do you know a team, player, or school with a killer performance? Nominate them by emailing highschool@espnwestpalm.com. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Go where the pros go.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
All into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy!
Light him up, Colin!
Midweek college football playoff rankings out. It's Russo and Rizzo live here on ESPN 106.3. Hi, everybody. Colin Russo here. Joined alongside me is Mike Rizzo and Christian Cat, of course, behind the glass as always. It's Russo and Rizzo live here from the City Play Studios right here in downtown West Palm Beach. The 6th of November. Election day has came and gone. Thank God no more political advertisements in the news. Everywhere I look, there was political ads the last few weeks. I'm happy that is behind us. Now we can focus on the fun stuff and the sports stuff. Now that the election is behind us and all the political stuff is off to the side. But college football playoff rankings came out last night. The college football officially, first one all year, announced who is going to be their 1 through 4. And I know it's not a ton in terms of setting things in stone because there's a whole lot of more games to be played. But this is now going to take precedence over the AP poll. AP poll, forget it. Goodbye, bury it. The college football playoff ranking by that committee means a whole lot more.
It does. And a couple of things surprised me on it, Kyle. The Buckeyes being over Georgia really surprised me. I thought Georgia has been the better team. They got the better wins. How about that? Playing in the SEC, beating Texas. They have Texas as a top 5 team. I guess they're giving the Buckeyes a benefit of the doubt, playing Oregon as close as they did, and then beating Penn State. But
they've been high. People, even the AP, been high on Ohio State all year long. I think they're just banking on that talent. To really churn together into some big-time wins.
And to your point on that, they got more 5-stars on one side of the ball than the entire Big Ten. You know, the next team that has the most 5-stars outside of Ohio State is Oregon with 6. So I was a little surprised, though, that they had them over Georgia. I think Georgia, I think they've been the best team in the country, even though they do have that loss against Alabama. And I'm with you, man. All done with the AP, focusing on the college football playoff. And I'm fascinated to see, Kyle, too, who the best of 5 is.
Yeah, it was fair.
The best of 5.
The rankings were fairly chalk. Other than that Ohio State-Georgia thing, it's more of what you expected. Boise State rounding up the rear at 12. And, of course, they tell you right straight up there that a 2-loss Alabama is going to get precedence over any other 2-loss team or 1-loss team, for that matter, now that SMU is that first team out. And Texas A&M, of course, the second team out. So that they favor that Alabama, whether it's the Alabama brand or that win over Georgia. The College Football Playoff Committee just told you with this first ranking that Alabama is going to get every benefit of the doubt. And now you're looking at that, and you got, 4 teams apiece in the Big Ten and the SEC. They're basically telling the other conferences, go win your conference championship or forget it. And that is forget your playoff aspirations. This is going to be a Big Ten SEC show other than essentially the conference champions. And then, of course, you got Notre Dame sitting there as an independent, but Notre Dame's got the brand.
Yep.
So that's what they told you. They said, go win that game. Now, the real question is you think about who the twisters are. If SMU beats Miami, do they put in a one-loss Miami as an at-large? My guess would be yes. And if SMU loses, they're definitely not putting a two-loss SMU team in there. Mm-hmm. So that's something to follow there.
Does it depend on how Miami loses, you think?
I'd be blown away if they walked in the ACC championship game and got blown out.
Right.
So I'd assume that it would be close, but yes.
And then we mentioned Alabama. I think LSU just slides into that Alabama spot if they win over the weekend. Agree?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
That they also said that with LSU. I think they're the 15th team or something like that.
Yep, they're
that
15th.
That game is for that spot, and then it'll continue to as the chips fall where they may. Another thing that it tells you is it highlights another issue that I think probably the sole issue is with this college football playoff revamping is if Ohio State is number 2. But let's assume they don't win the Big Ten. They lose to Oregon again. They're going to be that 5 seed. Mm-hmm. They're going to have Boise State in the first round at home.
Gave Oregon a game.
Week 2.
I'm trying to sell you on a game.
Hold on. Talk about an easy route. They would have Boise State at home the 21st of December. And a first college football playoff game at home, it would probably be the first game on the slate. They would thrash them. And then they got to go and play BYU in one of the Fiesta, Peach, Rose Bowl, Sugar Bowl, something like that. And if BYU doesn't travel like Ohio State does.
You're high on BYU.
I like BYU, but that's the fundamental problem is that Big 12 champion or ACC champion for that matter, if you're in a year where it's not as talented, all of a sudden the team that, doesn't get the automatic bid in their conference gets a relatively easy path. Ohio State gets a home game out of this, so they get a whole lot of money. They play a group of 5 team, and then they got to play BYU instead of Oregon, who's play the winner of Tennessee and Indiana, which is a tougher game. That's a tricky spot. And it goes to show the fundamental flaw is that sometimes these paths to the quarterfinal or the semifinal is going to be a whole lot easier for some than others. And it depends where they put them, of course. But if they put that Ohio State game and they stick them in that Fiesta Bowl in Arizona, you think all the Mormons are coming out to that one from Provo? Ohio State would travel for that one. That's the fundamental flaw is that BYU is sitting there at 9, yet they get a bye. And I don't know if it's worth it to fix it or if you want to reward the college football, the conference champions. But all of a sudden, Ohio State is sitting there with a very, very favorable side of the bracket.
Agreed. And we talked about this during baseball season, the time off. So the Buckeyes, obviously they would be playing in the Big Ten championship if the season shakes out like how we think, if they beat Indiana and they beat Michigan and what's left on their schedule. So they would play Oregon, and then they would go right in and play Boise State.
They'd have 3 weeks off, yeah.
The question I want to ask you is the extra time off for the teams that get the bye, is that going to hurt them? Do you think that hurts them, or do you think that helps them? I'm on the side of helping.
Yeah,
because I think it's football.
They want time off. It's not baseball.
I wonder, though, if those conversations are going to pop up if one of these teams, obviously, Colin, BYU, I think there's a big gap between the Big Ten winner, the SEC winner, and arguably if Miami is the ACC winner. A lot of people think there's a big gap between BYU and those teams. But I wonder if a Georgia, an Oregon, or a Miami falls on their face, we're going to be hearing those conversations.
No, because the team loves that bye. And there's no way that they would, unless for the money standpoint and getting a home game out of it, it's not baseball. It's not baseball. It's not basketball where all that time off can kind of throw off your rhythm. It's football. It's all about preparation and health. That's the key to the castle. Preparation and health. I don't know how much momentum really goes into it because all that is garnered in game, drive by drive.
And with Ohio State being the 5, getting that home game, is it too many games in a row? Like I don't think we understand how hard this path is going to be for a team that doesn't get the bye. It's a lot of games.
Yeah,
it's a lot of games that you're going to have to win. You essentially What, Colin? You essentially have to win 2 games before you get to the semifinals?
That's how it works.
You essentially, if you don't get the bye, you got to win 2 games before you get to the semifinals, win your semifinal game, and then win the national championship game. I think that bye is a little, and then one of the reasons I brought up that whole bye thing is, do you think it's detrimental or not? I think it's a must. If you want to win the national championship, I think you got to get the bye.
Yeah, the one thing
a lot of games to play.
The one thing I'll say in rebuttal to that is if Ohio State thrashes Boise State, they're playing for basically 2.5 quarters, and it's 38-10. That game doesn't necessarily make him draw a sweat, but who knows?
I worry too if they are going to thrash them. Like, trust me, I think they could win by 10. I think they could win the game, but I don't think you're going to be thrashing anyone at this point in the year, no?
I think this is going to be a situation where you see a number of teams getting thrashed because you're going to see the talent level difference between the top 4, top 6 versus the bottom 6.
Like, you think that there's going to be backups in by the endish of the third quarter and start of the fourth quarter?
I mean, who knows? I don't even know the matchups. You can't hypothesize like that, but I think that the talent level, you're going to see discrepancies in talent level.
The reason I'm bringing that up is the road, right? There's a lot of wear and tear on your body to play 2 games and then go to the semifinals. So it's fascinating to me how these coaches are going to handle that.
Well, I remember the difference between that first game and that second game will be about 10 days. So they get longer than usual. And then, of course, going into those, I'd have to double-check the dates on those semifinal games, but I believe it's another 10 days into the weekend following. And then you have another 9 days. So it's not a traditional week. It's not like you're playing 4 regular season games in a row. You are playing 10 days off, 10 days off. You got extensive travel schedules. That is how that would normally go. I don't know, unless they're hurt and battered. You haven't seen it be an issue before. I'd have a tough time seeing it be a major problem again. And teams want that home game. The reason that's where they benefit those teams. 4 of the 8 teams are going to not have to travel, and that's going to make a difference.
Penn State and Indiana, Colin. We talked about them on the show yesterday. Penn State 6, Indiana 8, same as the AP.
They didn't change it up.
The 6, 7, 8 is the exact same as the AP. I'm a little shocked by that.
Yeah, I was under the impression that they would throw Indiana a bone there, being the undefeated one of the bunch, but they didn't.
And I also thought they'd put Tennessee higher than Penn State. Tennessee beat Georgia. We had the conversations yesterday on who has Penn State beaten. So a little shocked that
Tennessee?
The Volunteers beat Alabama.
Alabama's what you're
and
talking
Penn State.
Okay.
I know you make fun of me for saying USC.
They don't have anything. But the Indiana's undefeated. So it goes to show that they're taking a lot into consideration based on the strength of schedule. So that is from that perspective. But then all of a sudden, what do you say about Texas? Talking about a good win. Tennessee has a bad loss. I understand that. But so does Georgia. So does Texas. That at home against Georgia is a bad loss. Despite how good Georgia was, that was an ugly, embarrassing loss. Texas doesn't have a whole lot on their resume other than that. And they're sitting there at 5.
Could be the talent discrepancy that we talked about with Ohio State, too. There's a lot of talent.
Yeah, they're relying, and they were there
team
last year. They got a returning quarterback. I think that's a whole lot to do with it. So in terms of the college football playoff projected bracket, you can't go into the matchups too much, but you get a sense of where the committee has their priorities in terms of how they rank these teams.
There's an agenda.
I wouldn't say it's an agenda. They have their priorities set. An agenda would mean that we're going to do whatever we can to get Alabama into this, or we're going to do whatever we can to make sure that Indiana is out of this. I think it's more of we value the big-time win. We value brand and making sure that the team is somebody that's reputable and consistent. And that's basically their top two right there.
And from my understanding, I think Indiana is going to have to keep the game close versus the Buckeyes. If the Buckeyes blow them out of the water, I think Indiana could be in trouble. Based off of some of these other one-loss teams, I think Indiana could possibly be in trouble if they get the doors blown off.
Maybe. It depends. They would need help. It's if Alabama beats LSU but drops another game, or if Texas drops another game to A&M, and you have to make a bunch of teams make a decision, it would be safer in a lot of ways to put Indiana in there as a one-loss team. But I understand the point. You're right. If they get the doors blown off them in the only big game they really play all year, other than Michigan, if you want to count it this weekend,
yep,
then there would certainly be a conversation. And also, if it removes a spot, if SMU wins, that removes a spot. If somebody beats BYU in the Big 12 championship game, do you put BYU in there? They probably wouldn't get benefit of the doubt, but Miami probably would. Why would that be? It's because of the Heisman candidate in Cam Ward, and BYU doesn't necessarily have a candidate like that. That's probably has something to do with it. Mm-hmm. So they understand everything at hand. They want big brands. They want big names. They want big teams. They want traveling fan bases. Now it will also be fun to see who gets what game and who gets to play where. Who's going to be in that Rose Bowl game in that quarterfinal? Who they're going to stick in the Cotton Bowl? Like, I think that's all going to be stuff that you're going to see, of course, later down the line. But you get a lot of a sense of where the committee lies, and I thought there would be a little bit more of a change or of a discrepancy based on that versus the AP, but there wasn't.
No, and like outside of the Ohio State being above Georgia, the same kind of status quo as the 6, 7, and 8 with Penn State, Tennessee, and Indiana. Outside of that, nothing really shocked me. A lot of people were saying Alabama shouldn't be at that 11th spot. I know we already touched on it. No need to circle back around to that. But I completely that did not shock me that they were 11. And I'm fascinated to see who the best group of 5 team is going to be. I wonder if Boise State is going to be able to win their conference championship. I wonder about Army, Colin. Army number 25, according to the College Football Playoff Committee. So I think those are a couple of things we could be keeping an eye on as well.
Army's going to have to deal with Navy twice, and of course they're going to have to deal with Notre Dame. So I would say they were probably on the back burner for the time being. But in terms of everybody else, I thought they would throw a little bit more of a bone to, I don't know, maybe an SMU or something like that. Maybe they'd throw them something there, but nothing there. This is a interesting way to handle this and how they laid it all out. But it shows some flaws in it. It shows where the committee's head and perspective lies. And it shows some flaws that BYU is going to have to deal with Ohio State, who's probably a top 3, top 4 team left in the field after Ohio State gets to have a group of 5 team at home. That's the takeaway.
And do you want to know who's laying in the tall grass, waiting for things to play out their way in their conference? Number 20, Colorado Buffs.
Well, they need help. And if Iowa State wins out and finishes with 1 loss, they would need Texas Tech to have a better conference record than Kansas State. And Kansas State would inevitably have to lose to Iowa State for that to happen, and Texas Tech would have to lose to Colorado in order for that to happen. So then all of a sudden you need one of the two to lose on top of that before you go to the next tiebreaker. Yep. That would be very tricky. They need some help if they wanted to get the bid into that Big 12 championship game. And also what the committee's telling you here is that if you were not SEC or Big 10, forget it. Forget it. Win your conference and then we'll talk, which is probably the right way to do it based on the field. But there's your opportunity to steal some bids and create chaos. What? Go ahead.
Is this playoff ranking, and you remember the story that came out that the Big Ten and the SEC were asking for 4 at-large bids? Don't they already have that right here? Isn't that what they're probably going to get? I'm not. Listen, I like it. As a Big Ten guy, I would like to see SEC teams and Big Ten teams in it, but we basically already have it. And I know it's just...
Yeah, they're saying you have no chance other than winning your conference championship. That's what they're telling them. And whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is up to interpretation. Whether a team suffers 1 or 2 losses or is not the top of the line, they're not going to get benefit of the doubt, any sort of benefit of the doubt. No branding, none of that. It doesn't matter if you have 1 loss, if you lose that big game, you lose at the end of the year. They don't care. They want to see Big Ten, SEC. That's what the college football committee showed you there. The playoff bracket is officially out, so go check it out. They released it last night. They'll release it weekly from now until the end of the year, and you'll get somewhat of a sense week by week, but this one was very telling in terms of which games are important, where you're ranking. It has a lot to do with who's your biggest win or who have you played in your schedule. That's why teams like Indiana, not as high, being an undefeated team, but also teams like Tennessee, still in the mix there, haven't really passed a ton of eye tests, but they beat Alabama. Alabama, of course, being in there at 11 because they have that win over Georgia. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat, of course, behind the glass. NFL mid-season. Maybe we'll hand out a couple awards. And also, I went to the movies last night. There was nothing on, and I had no interest in watching the election.
I was about to say, there's nothing on.
No interest. And so I went to the movies by myself last night, and I want to pose the question. I don't think it's weird. We've had this conversation before to go to the movies alone, but what activity does it start to get weird that you're doing it alone? Would that be going to a concert? Would that be going to a restaurant? Would that be going bowling? What is that activity? Where is that line drawn? We want to break that down and more. Stick around. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Hey, it's Josh Cohen for the Accident Attorneys, Anajar and Levine. Car accidents, truck accidents, slip and fall, trip and fall. Did you get injured on the job? Workers' comp problems? My friends Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine, they will fight for you. Remember, they do not get paid unless you get paid, and they will fight to get you the maximum compensation you know you deserve. Here's what you do. You just call. Call Anajar and Levine for your absolutely free consultation. Do not settle for just any attorneys. Demand Anajar and Levine, and demand the Anajar and Levine difference. It takes just one phone call to begin to take back control of your life. So do that. Take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-FREE. 1-800-747-3733. Anajar and Levine, Accident Attorneys. Take back control of your life.
Hurricane fans, the final game of the season is here. Join us on November 23rd at Hard Rock Stadium as the Hurricanes take on the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest. It's Senior Day, a day to honor the incredible players who have given their all to the U. Let's give them a send-off they'll never forget and fill the stadium with Hurricanes pride. Don't miss out. Get your tickets today by visiting MiamiHurricanes.com or by calling 1-800-GO-CANES.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
Time now for a PNC pause. PNC Bank is committed to making a difference in the lives of the customers they serve in the South Florida community. See how at PNC.com. You're listening to ESPN 106.3.
Experience the ultimate blend of luxury shopping, dining, and entertainment at the Gardens Mall. Just 1 mile east off I-95 on PJ Boulevard, this premier destination offers a mix of high-end brands, trendy retailers, and delicious dining. The mall's award-winning architecture, fine art, and lush landscaping create a stunning backdrop for interactive experiences and events. Whether you're shopping for the latest trends or enjoying the vibrant atmosphere, the Gardens Mall is Palm Beach County's top shopping and lifestyle destination.
Hey, it's your boy JC. Bad news, Chicago Bears fans. It gets even worse from here. We explain on today's brand new Questionable Call with Josh Cohen. Subscribe now on YouTube. Questionable Call with Josh Cohen. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, exclusively on YouTube.
Kane is in the building.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Officially halfway through the NFL season, we could finally declare, I think, some awards on who wins what, who stands where, and who should be awarded which award. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat, of course, behind the glass. Start your day with a bang. We know yesterday on the television networks it was a bang with how the election, all that coverage. You almost forget how extensive it is. And every other news station, every station, period, doing coverage on it. It's incredible how much coverage and just nonstop. But if you want to start your day with a bang and get your mind off that, you go to F45 West Palm Beach. I go every single morning. right here in downtown West Palm at the location. They also have locations in Wellington and Palm Beach Gardens. It's group-based workout. They have 2 coaches on site making sure that you're doing things properly. But it's more the functional side of things when you're working out. It gets a good sweat in because it's nonstop. It's 45 minutes in and out. You're not necessarily wasting any time. You're watched over, so you're not going to hurt yourself or anything like that. And it's also a social component to it. There's people that are like-minded fitness individuals that live in the area, young or old, that come in and just want to get a good workout in and want to meet some people. And that's exactly what I do at F45. You can hang around after and mingle. You get close with the coaches. And you could never the same class twice. So you're always mixing up the workouts. F45 is the best way. I used to be an Olympic lift guy. I've completely shifted out. I feel healthier and as in shape as ever due to F45 and what they do for me. Go check them out at F45 downtown West Palm Beach on Instagram, or go check out their other locations in Wellington and Palm Beach Gardens. All right, let's do this really quickly. Halfway through the NFL season, we could give out a couple awards. And at this point, we'll do this together, Mike, right? You agree with that?
Agreed.
Because I think a lot of this, we're going to agree on some of them.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're going to declare an MVP, I think it's between 2. It's between Lamar and Derrick Henry. Would you agree with this?
Yeah, Henry. I mean, Colin, he's already over 1,000 yards. I mean,
and you look at Lamar too. He's got like 20 touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
Like, my God, he's over 1,000 yards. We're having to go for $2,000. So yeah, I would agree with that. Can I give an honorable mention? He's not going to win it, but I want to give an honorable mention for Baker Mayfield. Baker has played very well.
Yes.
Second in passing yards, good touchdown-interception ratio.
I mean, he's a lot of picks. That's the problem. He throws a lot of interceptions.
That too, but I think with the situation he's in right now, with a lot of his skill weapons being hurt, he still played well. I want to give him an honorable mention. Like I said, he's not going to win it, but I wanted to give him an honorable mention.
Yeah, it's either Lamar or Derrick Henry show. Lamar, of course, 20 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Ravens are top 3 in rushing offense, top 3 in passing offense. They're top 3 in red zone. They don't turn the ball over.
Is it their year?
That's
a whole nother conversation.
They're as dynamic
Loaded
as
question.
they've ever been. And those defensive moves they made at the deadline, I think, help. But
it's a loaded question.
In a lot of ways, the Ravens can still be the Ravens. And you see that here and there. But it looks to be that it's a Lamar. I think Lamar would probably get the nod, but I think Derrick Henry should very much be in that conversation.
Agreed.
Derrick Henry makes life easy for Lamar.
Yep. And we've seen the Baltimore Ravens have a good run game. Like, Colin, for years, they've been the best rushing team in the NFL. This isn't anything new, but they've never had the back of a running back of the caliber of Henry. And I'm not going to lie to you here. All right, you know I'm honest. I question if Henry and the wear and tear he has on his body, I wondered if he was going to be able to do it. Now, I don't think any of us thought he had a chance of going for 2,000 yards, but it's certainly looking like that with the halfway point and him already being at 1,000.
I would say that whoever gets that MVP, whether it be Lamar, Derrick Henry would be slated in for that Offensive Player of the Year. If it was Derrick Henry and they wanted to give it to a quarterback, that's one thing. I think Saquon Barkley deserves some consideration as well.
Yep.
In terms of what he's done for that offense.
About JJ, Justin Jefferson, obviously missed time with the injury last year. He's just the best right now. I mean,
he's the best player, non-quarterback.
I think so.
But he doesn't. I don't know if he has the statistical categories to back it up.
Leads the league in receiving, 5 touchdowns. So when I say leads the league in receiving, leads the league in yards. Him and Chase, 1 and 2, big shocker there. But I feel like, and I know we'll get to teams here in a little bit, but I think Jefferson is the kind of caliber of player that they might give that to. Just because of the allure. Like, Colin, everyone loves the wide receiver position. We talked about that in shows past of, everyone wants the flashy and cool wide receiver. So I thought maybe he could have some consideration.
Maybe. I would be surprised because it has been a running back's year more so than it has been a receiver's year, and it's usually flipped. Mm-hmm. And because of that alone, I think there's probably those 2 candidates in Saquon and Henry are probably a little more higher touted, but I understand the argument. I do.
Okay.
So I would probably give my MVP, if I were to give it out today, would be Derrick Henry personally.
Okay.
Where would it be for you?
It's a quarterback award, so I'll go with Lamar Jackson.
My Offensive Player of the Year, I would go Saquon Barkley.
I'd go Henry, just because he didn't win the MVP.
Yeah. Defensive Player of the Year is going to be tricky.
Now, can I give you a couple names? I loved the signing before the year, by the way. Xavier McKinney, for me, I think deserves some consideration. You could go a couple.
He's got the interceptions, but that's not sustainable as much.
It's not. And you saw, and remind me who won it last year, defensive player, because remember Deron Bland had all those pick sixes. And I know that was a conversation. I apologize, I don't remember off the top of my head. It's a bad look. I apologize to the listeners, too.
We'd have to double check.
That's fine.
It wasn't Hunter, was it? Because he led the league in sacks.
I remember a couple of my listeners.
Either him or Crosby.
A couple of my listeners were going.
It was Garrett.
It was Garrett. How about that? The Browns fan didn't even know that. Oh, yeah, there was a big stink about Garrett and Watt.
Yes.
And Steeler fans were very upset that it wasn't Watt. This could go a couple either ways. McKinney, Hendrickson, Dexter Lawrence. I think those three would be my top three. I think Xavier McKinney, Hendrickson, and Dexter Lawrence. Hendrickson, the edge rusher. Trey Hendrickson, the edge rusher for Cincinnati. He's got a lot of sacks on the year so far. And Dexter Lawrence, you brought it to my attention that the Giants led the league in sacks and a couple of shows ago, and I had to go back and looked at him. I'm like, God, is he seriously right on that? And maybe that's a big reason why they want to stick with that operation in New York with Dable and their GM. So I think those three would be top for me.
I would put Watt in this consideration as well. He's not as high end as the rest of them, but you got to assume he's going to continue that rate. And in terms of he's got 4 forced fumbles. 4. I don't think anybody else has more than 2. And he's got 4. He's an elite tackle for loss guy. He's all over the field in terms of importance and game plan. It's sort of like an Aaron Donald situation. You know how great they are, that they always are in consideration. I would go Watt here. I'd be surprised giving it to a guy like Hendrickson because that defense stinks. So, but that would be my perspective. Dexter Lawrence would also make sense, but we've seen that. Aaron Donald set the bar for an interior defensive lineman getting that award, and he is not that. So off of that alone, I'd be surprised.
I won't disagree with you. Team matters. A team does matter, and the Bengals have been shocking on defense. But Hendrickson with the 11 tackle for loss, 11 sacks, how much do stats come into play? I guess that's the question here. By far, if you ask me who the best defensive player in the league is, as a Brown fan, it kills me to say it. I think it is Watt. So I won't be shocked if it is.
I would agree.
Watt.
I think there was a draft for defensive players. I think Watt would probably go number 1.
Watt would go 1 and Garrett would go 2. But don't get it wrong. The gap isn't as big as I think some Steeler fans would make it out to be. But it's going to be fascinating whoever this goes to. I really think so.
I would give it to Watt. You would give it to Hendrickson?
I would probably give it to Hendrickson. He's having an incredible year. 11 sacks and 11 tackles for loss is amazing.
Yeah.
It's really good, man.
Offensive Rookie of the Year, no question. Jaden Daniels. None.
No?
I
said no question.
No question.
No question. Sorry.
Defensive Player of the Year. Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Is it Verse, Florida State?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. He's had a good year. I don't have all the stats of the rookie defensive players off the top of my head.
Maybe,
but he has played great. The Rams probably got 3 guys there. Kitchens too, I believe, is a rookie as well.
What would you make of now? Like you said, I'm kind of shooting from the hip here. Who is it? Arnold.
Terrion Arnold.
Yep, could be him from Detroit.
You know who's also leveled up a bit is Cooper DeJean on the Philadelphia Eagles. He's been great. Mm-hmm. So those are opportunity. The guys right there. It's in the secondary. It's harder to accumulate stats.
If we remember, the first defensive player taken off the board in the draft was Dallas Turner with the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah. So this wasn't necessarily a draft known for defense. And obviously, folks, second-round picks hit all the time. You know what I mean? There are too many quarterbacks going at the top of the draft. I understand that. But I remember at the time, I'm like, I wonder who is going to be winning Rookie Defensive Player of the Year. I'm not shocked that it might be the Florida State kid in Verse. And I'll tell you what, Florida State, do you think Florida State could use him this year? You think Florida State could use Verse this year?
I don't think he would make a difference this year, but that's just my opinion on that. That's how bad they are.
Right.
Coach of the Year. Now, this is tricky.
You could go a couple of ways here. You could go, I personally think you could go the Dan Campbell route.
They do it situationally. They don't do it based on the best team, best
Agreed.
coach.
Who won it last year? Stefanski?
Yes.
Stefanski won it because...
And Dable was the year before.
Right. And Stefanski won it last year because you lose your quarterback, Joe Flacco, backup quarterback, top defense. I understand all that. Let me ask you this. Is there a team like that this year? You want to know who comes to mind for me? The Pittsburgh Steelers. With Justin Fields is the quote-unquote backup quarterback, and I've told you this.
I was going to say Tomlin or O'Connell get consideration.
I told you this at the time, but fair play to you for reading into that Russell Wilson stuff and the fact that he would start. So I think there could be a big stink about that with the Steelers at starting the year with a backup.
Mid-season coach of the year, I think it'd have to be Tomlin or O'Connell.
Okay.
Would you agree with that? Would you throw Dan Campbell in there? Would you throw Andy Reid being undefeated in there?
I would personally.
But in terms of how the voters vote,
I agree.
They do
situationally. The award is skewed. It's not. It's going to be unfair for me to say this. It's not the best coach, in my opinion. If that was the best coach, we'd give it to Andy Reid every year. This is similar to my argument that I made with the NBA MVP. You could have gave it to LeBron for 10 years. And I understand that becomes stale. So with the guidelines, I would agree with you. Can I give you another one, though?
Okay.
Quinn and McDermott?
Quinn would be consideration. I'd be surprised if McDermott got it, but it's another consideration for
I
sure.
think Quinn
makes a lot of sense.
Can I change my vote? I'm going to go Quinn. I did not expect the Commanders to be 7-2. Colin, I had the Commanders about a 5-6 win team this year.
Yeah.
And they have shattered every expectation I think that they've set for themselves and for their fan base.
Yeah, Quinn would probably be an easy answer here. Tomlin and O'Connell, I think, would be other guys you consider as well. If I had to award it, you'd probably go Quinn because the team is brand new. But I think Kevin O'Connell deserves a ton of credit in terms of losing. You didn't know whether he was going to go Darnold or McCarthy to start the year, loses that quarterback, and is able to put together in a very, very tough division a very strong, with a resume-building first half of the season for the Minnesota Vikings. I think he would deserve some of that.
It's a lot. There is a lot right now. Can I do a little trolling, Colin? Can I do a little trolling? What about the 6-2 Philadelphia Eagles and Nick Sirianni?
Oh, God,
I know
he drives me nuts.
I know intern Jacob is a big Philly fan, and what about intern Jacob's Nick Sirianni Eagles?
It's incredible how close he was to being burned. Like, oh, God, he would have been destroyed by the media had he lost that Jacksonville game, and he put them in a position to lose by giving up all those extra points and going for 2 and on 4th down. He has no sense of that. Nick Sirianni's problem, if you're an Eagle fan, Nick Sirianni last year, or 2 years ago, let's go to 2 years ago. Okay. You had Gannon and Steichen, 2 future head coaches. He let them do their thing. Everything was working. Sirianni's relatively fresh on the job. Everything clicked. Then you go to the following year. You lose both coordinators. Of course, you get Brian Johnson in there. And this is a situation where Nick Sirianni was a bit of a helicopter parent with both coordinators. And he wanted to be involved here. He wanted to be involved there. He superseded authority here. He superseded authority there. They told him to back off in the offseason. They told them to mend those relationships, and they changed out the coordinators with experienced guys that won't necessarily back down to Sirianni's antics. Now, all of a sudden, you have 2 coordinators who are proven and good at their jobs, and they're succeeding. And it's almost like Sirianni has this complex where I need to get involved. I need to make sure that people see what I'm doing, and I need to be making a difference in the game. Sometimes when you don't notice a head coach making a decision, it means they're doing a good job. No news is good news when it's sort of like that. And he has to do something, whether it's clock management, go for it on 4th here. He has to throw the challenge flag, do something with the media. He has to be seen. And he has to have a sense of, I contributed today. Because in that Jacksonville game, both Fangio and Moore did a great job calling the game. Great. And then it's Sirianni trying to get involved, trying to be seen. It annoys me, and I was rooting for the other team, and it annoyed me.
And Colin, all that happened after week 12 of the NFL season last year. Let's not forget, the Eagles started 10-1 at the start of last year, and then they went 1-5 to end the year, and an embarrassing loss. Not embarrassing. Let me rephrase. And a loss to the Buccaneers, who we found out are actually pretty good. So,
they should have lost in that fact, and everybody knew they were going to lose, but I understand.
Right,
that.
But the first 11 weeks last year, it's like, all right, look at Sirianni, look at what he's able to do without his coordinators, and then all hell breaks loose.
Yeah. So he drives me crazy. I don't think he should be fired in any sense because they're winning games, but he drives me crazy. I was rooting for Jacksonville in that game on Sunday, and Sirianni was driving me up a wall. It's never happened to me. Very, very strange. Mike Rizzo, Colin Rizzo, Christian Cat, of course, behind the glass from the City Play Studios right here in downtown West Palm Beach. A Wednesday edition of Russo and Rizzo. Now I'm curious. We're in the thick of November right now. After last month, it got me thinking. October is just a top to bottom great month. It is a top tier month in terms of everything going on. The weather's fun. The weather's good. I know seasons don't exist down here, so the weather's always good. And I know it's sort of hurricane season, so Florida's in its own little bubble. But generally, the weather's good. It's football season. You got college football on. You got the baseball with the MLB playoffs. NBA is starting. Halloween, if you like it. Ton going on. What are the best months of the year, all things considered in that regard? This can include weather, sports, holidays, things going on. We're going to draft them next on Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius, or two half geniuses, and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place. For changes big and small, loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Improve your golf game fast at the all-new Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center has the facilities, tools, and coaching you need. Enjoy the best facilities in the area with an expansive chipping and putting area, practice bunkers, a huge putting green, plus a 2,000 square foot indoor training area with 3 hitting bays, cutting-edge analysis technology, and more. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center in the heart of Palm Beach County off I-95 and the Turnpike. Find out more at kaisergolfcenter.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Hey, it's Tina. The Pickleball Club of St. Lucie West is now open. Join an amazing club that offers indoor championship quality courts and premium amenities that enhance your game. Whether you're new to pickleball, like me, or an experienced player, young or old, the Pickleball Club's world-class experience is more than just a game. It's a community where you can play, dine, and make new friends. Memberships are now available. Visit thepickleballclub.com for more information and to schedule your tour today.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
October is officially concluded, and we're now into November, into the hot holiday season. Thanksgiving coming up in a couple weeks. Of course, you got Christmas season coming up shortly after that. This is a great time of the year. And I guess the best way to compartmentalize it is by a month. And you could, a whole lot of things you could consider. Sports, holidays, weather, events, feeling, vibe is important. I want to rank or draft the months of the year and see what we can put up with. There's only 12, so we're going to do 4 apiece. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
4 apiece.
I'm in. And I'm fascinated to see which ones we leave off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because everybody's got a different rationale.
Exactly. So, like, if we do 4 each, that's 8. We leave 4 off.
Right.
We don't give those months to CCAT that we don't want.
Alrighty, let's start this in hot fashion. Mike, you're going to go first. You're going to go 1 and 4, and I'll go 2 and 3.
Now, I thought about this long and hard, but the more I thought about it, it was pretty easy for me. September. I'm going to go number 1, September. Got football.
You're not going your birthday month in October?
I'm not. And hear me out on why. I think September, and I think a lot of this has to do with the region you grew up in. September, Colin, was fantastic weather in Northeast Ohio. And football started. You had the Buckeyes around the corner. You had the Browns.
And what about here?
September's all right here. Sorry.
It's got to travel.
It's hot.
It can't just be a home game.
Hot.
Yeah.
For me, all right, so to generalize it, brother, September because of football. Fair? September because of football and the nostalgia I had of growing up of, all right, here we go. I loved school, Colin. I was the kid who loved school. We would start school early September. So give me number 1, the month of September.
I think I got an easy 2 here. I'm going to go December, then October. Those 2 in that order. I think obvious reasons with September, the vibe, or with December, the vibe, the holiday. I like the in-between of Thanksgiving and Christmas. It never really feels real. It's always, I know you're not a huge fan of the holiday season, then I love it.
I love Thanksgiving.
There's a lot of travel involved.
Sure.
Good sports. The NFL is in full motion right there. The NBA is really getting off and running. The college basketball is in full-fledged. It's a great time of the year, and the vibe is there. Whether you're in an area that has snow or not, the vibe is there. The music is out. People like to go for strolls in December. I like that. I like a December stroll.
What do you?
Chocolates.
Hang
cookies.
on. What is a December stroll?
You walk down the street. You get the lights above you at night.
Freezing outside.
Oh, it's great. It's great. Throw on a coat. Hallmark movie channel. Hot chocolate.
Dude, you love winter.
Do
you want to know what I just realized? You love the winter time.
I love the winter. I think it's great.
Oh,
it's great because the sports are good. The vibes are high. It's the holiday season. You got New Year's Eve, which I count within December. It's great.
Dude, if I never saw snow again, it'd be too soon. Did you guys get hammered in Connecticut growing up?
Yeah, it snowed more in Connecticut than it did in Wisconsin. The precipitation is higher there for some reason. But December and October. October, obvious reasons. The sports is as good as it gets.
Well, yeah, we get the equinox. Usually get the equinox.
The NBA starts. If you get into that in the regular season, the NBA the first 2 weeks, congratulations. You got the NHL that gets going. But in reality, you got full-fledged college football with conference games starting. And you got the NFL in full swing. On top of that, October baseball. You have the MLB, the NFL, and the NCAA in full swing. And off of that alone, there's something to watch every single day. Something to watch. You got something on your mind, C-Cat? You're really close to the mic. You got something for me?
Rizzo, how'd you go September over October?
I completely agree. I was surprised. Your birthday's in October, too.
I understand that, but September, I guess I didn't understand the assignment. I guess I didn't understand the assignment. I regionalized my months a lot to where I grew up. So,
but even
that's my list. That's my list.
I stole October here, but December and October are my two picks at 2 and 3.
I loved school growing up. School would start. Football season would start. I played football too, as well. Loved the start of September because that meant the start of actual games and playing football. So September was an awesome, great
what about
weather.
Now too? You got to consider
weather.
both. You got to consider both sides now too. You got to consider your adulthood as well.
The best weather, September for the Midwest and the East.
Even October in the Midwest and the East, October was nice.
Full on fall. Fall is great. I think fall is arguably the best season, but best weather, 75 and sunny, not a lot of humidity. That's September.
I'm surprised by this.
I guess I'm a phony. I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought that was a layup for October.
I guess I'm a phony. Should I attempt to pick my other two?
Yes, two. All right, so
I'm afraid
Mike
to pick.
Yeah, we're gonna bash you if you do another bad one here.
I'm afraid to pick.
Here comes March.
Mike and I are drafting the months of the year, everything considered. And Mike went September 1st. I went December and October, 2 and 3. Mike, you're at 4. What do you got?
Oh, God, Colin. Like I said, I'm afraid. I'm going to go August. I'm going to go August because growing up, we would always go on family vacation in August.
Oh, God. August stinks. August
it would be
is not a big time month.
Colin, Dad would always get off before training camp. I know training camp starts like late July now, but it used to be the second week of August. We would all go on vacation with Dad. It was a great time. We'd go to the townhouse in St. Pete.
That's just
I
like
loved August.
A week?
Yeah, but like here's the thing, Dad was always busy. So like for a week straight, we had Dad, and it was a lot of fun.
So on your big board, Mike, where did October and December land?
October was 2.
Okay.
It was September,
right.
October, August. Sure. December's dead last.
All right.
I think August is a rough pick. There's nothing going on in August.
It's great. Summer almost over. Going back to school. It makes no sense.
I didn't understand the assignment because I am.
Well, you could still.
I picked these.
You didn't
months,
understand it a pick ago, and you still. I
picked these months based off of my experience.
Okay. So I'm not saying you're wrong. I just disagree.
And then I'm up again.
Yes.
I'm picking March.
Huh. Okay.
March Madness, man. I loved the NCAA
now we're going to the
tournament.
different criteria.
I loved the NCAA tournament. No, I picked September because of football. What do you mean?
All right.
I love the NCAA tournament. And it sounds like Colin is my go-to for my bracket this year for my bozo buddies who we've been running this ridiculous bracket for the better half of 20 years, it seems like now. God, I am very old. But, yeah, give me March, baby. And I'm going to pick Colin's brain come March.
Worst weather month, though.
Worst weather month is January. Not even close. It would go December.
January just generally is very bleak.
My horrible months are January and December. I cannot stand those two months.
It is backwards.
February is up there.
You guys both moved here during the summer, so you'll experience the new way of doing winter here.
You're right.
But from a general sense, March is awful because you don't at least even get the sight of the snow. Yeah. It's just cold, and you're waiting for spring. You're over the cold by March.
The thing that I have a problem with.
But you do get some good days. Sorry,
Colin.
I
have a problem with January is there's not a lot to look forward to. You look forward to the weekend and to the football playoffs, and whether that be the NCAA or the NFL. That is the only thing you really look forward to.
That too. And in January, at least in Peoria and Cleveland, bro, it'd get dark at like 4. I'm telling you, like 4 o'clock.
Yeah, the weather stinks. There's just not a ton to look forward to. There's no big holiday. It just doesn't have a lot going on.
It's the January Wednesday. What are you doing on a January Wednesday?
Because I hold December in high regard.
Look forward to Friday.
You have the highs of December where everything's going on. There's constant movement. You're jumping around. You're seeing family. You're having a ball. Got good sports on. And then all of a sudden, after New Year's, it's sort of like the come down.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
January will have an unreal, 2 weeks with the college football playoff?
It's 2 weeks, and the wild card round is an excellent weekend. That would be the second weekend in
great football
in January. That would be the second weekend. That is great because they got the 2 on Saturday and then the 3 on Sunday, then the 1 on Monday. That's an excellent weekend.
Correct.
Of football.
But other than that, we agree the NBA stinks in January. No reason to watch the NBA in January. Players damn near taking off every other night in the NBA in that league.
So, all right. So you have September, August, and March. I have December and October. I got 2 picks here.
Yep.
I'm going to start with June. I think June is the kickoff of the summer. Now, everybody views summer a little differently. This is like the Southern Hemisphere. They just have their big seasons flipped. But I understand. June kicks off the summer, and it's full-fledged. You got NBA and NHL playoffs going on towards the latter end. I understand that, but it's still great. At least it's entertaining. So you got something to look forward to on the sports end. It's also, this is the time of the year where people jump around. People like to travel. You like to go visit people. There's vacation time. This and July are where people kind of get things going, and they look forward to July 4th. That, to me, is, I think I've always held June in high regard. I was thinking July, but after July 4th, you start thinking about the fall. And because of that, July is a little top-heavy with the early part.
I don't know. July, a lot of family vacations and getaways in July as well. I wouldn't look – not a look-ahead month for July for me.
Okay. August is a look-ahead month.
Yeah, you want to get out of August as soon as you're in August.
But I took June. I took June. I just like the end of the playoffs there. I like the end of the playoffs there. It's always associated with getting out, and it's post-Memorial Day. It kicks off the summer. Everybody's excited to be in the summer. I like the vibe. I like June. My second one would probably be April. April for a couple of reasons.
Ugh.
April, my birthday's in April. You got the end of the NCAA tournament in April. You got the start of the NBA playoffs in April. You get the start of the NHL the Stanley Cup playoffs in April. You got a ton. You have baseball opening day. There is a ton to watch and a ton of sports in April. It's the start of spring. People like to talk about the April showers. Who cares? And November was close, but I like April because of those reasons that I just listed.
C-Cat, do April showers bring May flowers?
Why are you asking me? Just like in Florida?
I don't know. I'm being a troll.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
It rains.
Okay. Me? I got one more, right?
Yes, you do.
November, because you get the best meal of the year.
I thought about this. Maybe I made a mistake not going November there.
You get the best. You get the best meal of the year.
According to who? If it was the best meal, we'd have it more than once a year.
It's the best holiday. Don't get it twisted. It's the best holiday.
It's a great holiday.
I selfishly have Halloween because of selfish reasons, but if you're taking bias out of it, Thanksgiving's the best holiday. I love the food. And what was your argument on the meal?
Oh, you only have it once a year. So, like, if I was
it's
going
the best
home,
meal
that's
of the year,
why it's special.
That's why, yeah. That's why it's Granny makes her candy carrots and the stuffing and the turkey. By the way, I'm dark meat. I cannot stand the white meat on a turkey. Way too dry. The gravy, the piggies in a blanket,
seeing family too for the first. You don't see family for the whole summer, really.
Right.
Especially extended family, unless you live in close proximity. That's the first time. I mean, that and Christmas, you saw them 3 weeks ago. You're going to see them again.
Now, I recently, to Colin's point, we recently moved down here 3 months ago. But if it were the quote unquote norm, if I didn't move, I wouldn't see my family for 4 months, a couple of months, unless they're coming to where I'm at and whatnot. It'd be a little bit since I've seen some family. So that's a good shout.
Yeah. What's dead last? Is it February?
February is an awful month.
Awful month.
February.
Thank God it's short.
Exactly.
February's bad. December's bad.
December's bad to you. It's not bad to the
so many
most
days
of the
off from work in December.
Bad.
It's great.
May was awful, I think, as well, just because it would snow on like May 15th in Northeast Ohio. Like it was just.
That's got to be like a once every blue moon type of
horrible
snowstorm.
Like May,
that does not happen every year.
Like May, like the worst months. Like to your point, Colin, April is an elite month for sports. Miserable weather month.
The Masters, another one.
Yeah,
pretty big.
Miserable weather, but like the stretch of February, March, April, May is brutal in the Midwest and arguably the East Coast. Agreed?
No, because you're looped in the East Coast. I can't speak on the Midwest, but no, once you're on the East Coast, things are fine by May and second half of April guaranteed.
No, growing up on the lake in the frozen tundra, those months were just like, God, is it June yet? Honest to God. To Colin's point of when did you pick June? Your third month?
Yes.
Yeah. To Colin's point, it's like, can you just get me to June already? I haven't seen the sun in 6 months. Get me to June.
July should have been picked by one of you guys. July's a good month. July is the 4th of July, and it's summer vacation.
You're probably right.
I like 4th of July. I just think after 4th of July, it's always been a look-ahead month after that for me, and there's not a lot going on sports-wise.
Yeah, that's where it kind of draws you back.
There's nothing going on. Yeah,
but you don't feel guilty for like going away.
Yeah, it's your time to do things because you're not missing anything.
Right, and for like Colin, I feel like for like everybody in like the sports media, I feel like the time to go on vacation is like middle and late July, right before NFL training camp. The NBA finals are over.
February.
The only thing going on is baseball. Now, you and I are baseball junkies and can watch 15 baseball games.
July baseball is brutal.
Exactly, but that's why you go on vacation, because it's the July blues of baseball, and everything else is not playing.
Final tally, Rizzo went with September 1st. I went December and October. You went August and March following that. I went June and April to finish off my side, and you finish off with November. I think November was the steal there. But ultimately, I thought a pretty decent draft. I'm surprised by your rationale of September and August, but you like that part of the year.
One more time. September started a school year growing up, start a football season, started your football season if you played football growing up.
Is there one we missed? Is there one that we overrate? Is there one that we underrate? Let us know. 888-760-3776, the number to get into the program. That's 888-760-3776. We continue next with Russo and Rizzo live here on ESPN 106.3.
As market dynamics change, the quality of service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Partner-owned since 1923, Anshin Accountants and Advisors take time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions. If you're a business owner or high net worth individual eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin recalculate what's possible. Visit ANCHIN.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, delivering value where others can't.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Hey, my name is Colin Russo, and this is your Miami Dolphins Minute. Well, the Dolphins came out and played tough, but suffered yet another loss to the Buffalo Bills on the road on Sunday by a score of 30-27. Despite the Dolphins dropping to 2-6 and 0-2 since quarterback Tua Tagovailoa came back from concussion, the offense was clicking, especially in the second half. The Finns had 2 game-tying 70-plus yard drives in the fourth quarter, but it was Josh Allen and the Bills' offense that was just too much for Miami as they drove down the field to set up a 61-yard field goal for kicker Tyler Bass to win the game with 10 seconds remaining. The Dolphins dropped to 2-6 and are well out of the AFC East race. They have a long week and go on the road to take on the LA Rams next Monday night. You can catch that right here on 106.3. That was your Miami Dolphins Minute presented by Hard Rock Bet. It's Florida's official sports book. For the first time ever in Florida, bet on the Dolphins all season long. Try Hard Rock Bet now and receive up to $100 back in bonus bets if that first bet does not win. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
Good Greek moving and storage. Your superhero movers.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
It's Evan Cohen. Missed me already? I'll be back for more on Sportsmanlike with Chris Canty and Michelle Smallman tomorrow at 6 a.m. here on ESPN 106.3.
Hey, it's your boy JC. Bad news, Chicago Bears fans. It gets even worse from here. We explain on today's brand new Questionable Call with Josh Cohen. Subscribe now on YouTube. Questionable Call with Josh Cohen. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, exclusively on YouTube.
Time now for a PNC pause. PNC Bank is committed to helping the customers and the communities they serve move forward financially. See how they can make a difference for you at PNC.com.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
There's something that binds us all. The constant hunger to improve. The obsession with every detail. And the reward of a custom fitting taking your game to a whole new level. We're all bound by 2 words said by golfers worldwide. Schedule your fitting at Edwin Watts Golf Shops. Find your local store at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
ESPN 1063 is presented by Rubenstein Law. 1-800-FL-LEGAL. Car accident, truck accident, Uber or Lyft accident, or a slip and fall. Call Rubenstein Law. Call 1-800-FL-LEGAL and visit one of our offices throughout Florida.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Ball into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063, the 6th of November, right here on a Wednesday, midweek. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat, of course, behind the glass. It's Russo and Rizzo at ESPN 1063, live from the City Place Studios, right here in downtown West Palm Beach. Presented in part by our pals over at Hard Rock Bet. Now we're in the second half of football season. We gave out our midseason awards. You see enough about how teams are shaping up. It's time to get started and try your first bet on Hard Rock Bet. Don't miss out on your chance for big wins all season. The parlays that the Hard Rock has to offer are great. You can bet as little as $1. In week six, a bettor in South Florida bet $1 on a first touchdown score parlay. 5 different players to score the first touchdown in their game on Sunday turned a $1 bet into a $40,000 payout. Did that on Hard Rock Bet, so can you. So many different ways to bet, so many different types of parlays. If you're not sure what to bet, you can see the popular trending parlays built by other users that you could follow and bet alongside them with just a few taps. And that's what the Discover page has available to you on the Hard Rock Bet app. November is a huge month for rivalries in college football. Bet on the Saturday's action. You can bet on the conference winners. Now we see the college football playoff rankings. So now you get a sense of who's going to be where. Bet on it. It's time to get started. It's got the simplicity that the newer player needs really to get acclimated, but it's also got sophistication to side of it that the experienced player really wants looking in their sports book. Try it now and get up to $100 back in bonus bets if that first bet does not win. That first bet can be a parlay, can be a prop, the over, whatever you like to bet. Any game you choose, you either win your first bet or get the same amount you bet back as a bonus bet. It's Hard Rock Bet, offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned by gambling, call 1-888-ADMIT-IT. Let's get to some 5 at 5.
Number 1.
Bailing me out.
The new college football playoff top 25 and top 12 is out. Did anything surprise you boys?
The one thing, if we're going to say we're surprised by it, I'm surprised at how to the AP poll they went. And maybe that's a sense of the AP poll doing a good job, but maybe it's a sense of the college football playoff committee actually going a little chalk, and this is exactly what I expected. I expected Indiana to be a little higher. I was surprised they gave Alabama the bid on the bottom side there, but they showed their colors on what they're prioritizing. Those are the things I'm surprised about. Penn State maybe a little high for me, but that's my takeaway there.
Yeah, I was surprised the Buckeyes were over Georgia. I'm not complaining about it. I like that they value the team I root for, but...
Not like it makes a ton of difference because they still got to get ahead of Oregon.
Right, and it's hysterical. I'm worrying about Indiana at this point. Like,
that's your next big game.
Colin, I am... Like, you have convinced me that Indiana is going to give me a game at the Shoes, so fair play to you. But that surprised me, Ohio State being over Georgia. Miami being over Texas surprised me a little bit. You mentioned Alabama. I'm sick to my stomach. Notre Dame is at 10, but I'm not shocked. And then Boise. I mentioned, man, I am fascinated to see which group of 5 team is going to get in. If it's Army, if it's Boise, if a sleeper team comes out of nowhere. So those are the things I was looking at on the
Army's
playoff.
got that one game they got to win. If they beat Notre Dame, then all of a sudden, if they're going to have to deal with Tulane in that AAC championship game, I think that's when I could start buying into Army's chances. And I love Army. I love our troops. But if they beat Notre Dame, then I could start changing my tune. It's Boise State's to lose at the moment. Number 2.
Number 2.
Well, Browns GM Andrew Berry, he was non-committal on the future of Deshaun Watson. He said, quote, really our focus with Deshaun, I would say, for any player with a season-ending injury and a major injury at that, is first and foremost to make sure that he gets healthy from the Achilles injury. Barry said during a news conference with reporters during the team's bye week, everything else he said we'll deal with at the later moment. What should the Browns do with Watson?
I think Colin, I worded this wrong. What can the Browns do with Watson? I think is the question.
You got one answer and one answer only. You got to eat it.
Oh,
you're not dumping him. You're not trading him. He's too hurt to be a viable trade candidate.
Now, what happens if they? The cap is insanity.
Yeah, you got another bad year, you're going to have to deal with it.
Oh.
You got another bad year, we're going to have to deal with it. And then after that, then you can start to maneuver here and there and figure it out. But you got another bad year.
You draft the quarterback? You draft the quarterback.
Depends on who's available. Depends on who's available.
I agree with everything you say. You're not going to get rid of him. No one wants, or rather, you're not going to trade him. Nobody wants him.
I would look for one. I wouldn't lose my shoes trying to get one.
Right. But
if it's there, it's there.
Someone, I don't think it was Tannenbaum. We were talking to someone the other day, and they said, Riz, if they cut him, like, you can't cut him, is the sense I got. I'd cut him, dude. That's how I would eat it. I'd cut him. Now, I'm not.
The dead cap is so much worse.
That's what I mean. I'm not numbers guy. So, like, I guess if it's worse to cut him, you keep him around. Pay him to stay away. How about that?
That's a good.
Pay him to stay
away.
If
there's a silver lining to the injury, it's that he's going to be staying away.
But I'm with you on everything you said, but you have to draft it. I say this. I don't want the Browns to corner themselves.
Yeah, you don't want to lose your shoes trying to get one.
Exactly.
Let one fall to you. You don't. It's not the most pressing need right now. The Browns don't need him to be immediately elite. You need somebody that could go in there and get some experience and go from there. That's how the Browns should handle it.
And I want them to take their guy. Like, I want Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski to pick their quarterback because they haven't picked their quarterback yet, Colin. And follow me on this. Baker Mayfield, they didn't draft him. John Dorsey did. They got that handed to them. And then Deshaun Watson. I don't care what anybody says, guys. That was Jimmy Haslam. That was your owner making a horrible move, giving him a lot of guaranteed money. I didn't mean to spend this much time on it, but that's my 2 cents on this. I'm not shocked that Andrew Berry's keeping this close to the chest.
Number 3.
Juan Soto will take his time surveying the free agent market before signing with the team, according to his agent, Scott Boras. Speaking at the general manager's meetings Wednesday, Boras indicated that Soto desires a thorough vetting before making a decision. How likely is Soto going to be a Yankee next year?
Colin, I'm going to start calling him Django Fett because I'm starting to agree that he is a bounty hunter hanging out on the outer rim.
Biggest contract.
I mean, my God. He's getting 7. I'm convinced that a desperate team is going to offer him 7. And if you think about it with Soto, he's got a World Series. What doesn't he have other than an MVP? What does he need to prove to people?
Defensive player.
His age.
But wasn't like
he's young.
No, in the DR. That's an actual question right now. There was a prospect who was 5 years older than he said.
It's a major problem in the Dominican Republic, right?
But I feel like people were talking Gold Glove with him this year, which I think was ridiculous. Anyway, Colin, he's a bounty hunter. He's hanging on the outer rim with Django Fett. I see him going to maybe, and I know you might not agree with me. I think San Francisco is the sleeper team that could be in play because they're going to give him a lot of money.
I don't think he's going to go 7. I don't think he's going to get anything close to 7. I think somewhere in the 640, 650 range makes a lot of sense. I mean, I don't know. It depends how many teams bid and who wants to outbid who. I think everybody's going to get a sense that Steve Cohen's going to outbid everybody. And therefore, the Mets are going to be that first place theme there. But look at it. Compare the contracts. Ohtani, the only reason they were able to do that $700 million contract and make it work was the deferred payments. And was that they're going to pay this over a 30-year period because Ohtani makes upward of $25 million a year off of endorsements alone. Juan Soto does not have that commercial appeal, so there's that problem. So you'd have to pay him more upfront year by year. On top of that, Ohtani, he pitches, he hits, he's great in the base path, he's got a huge arm, he's available. Juan Soto, he's okay on the base path. He's a great at bat, he's an excellent hitter, he's not a great defender, and he doesn't pitch. In terms of getting the most out of it, I don't know, you're going to get more years out of it, but I don't know, he doesn't offer you the same as Ohtani does. And I think teams are going to get they're going to get a feel of that, and they're going to let Cohen overpay. I would say, how likely is he going to be a Yankee? I would say the longer he waits, the less and less of a chance they have.
And that's where I want to go before we move on. You saw last year with Boras, Cody Bellinger didn't sign until like there was a week left in the spring training.
I think he's a Montgomery guy too.
Montgomery, yeah. That was the second guy I had on your Colin. You saw Montgomery sign with the Diamondbacks. Montgomery ended up firing him during the season. How long do they wait?
He doesn't. He's not going to deal with a Montgomery situation.
Is that healthy?
It shows you that Boris does not care. Boris wants to get the best price for his client. He does not care. That guy goes after people.
So he's getting all the bounties, and Soto's getting the biggest bounties that he gets.
Mm-hmm.
In other words,
yes, he is a brutal agent to deal with. He is tough.
You like how I nerded out there with Star Wars? Made sense, though.
I mean, context clues, what you were talking about. I had no idea what you were talking about.
Jango Fett was a bounty hunter who hung out on the outer rim, who always took high contracts.
Number 4.
And that's Juan Soto.
Number 4.
Could go Bubba Fett route, C-Cat. His son.
We are in November. We are post-election day, but the weather's not really getting cold. We don't get seasons here in South Florida. Is changing of the seasons overrated?
I had Colin in mind when I asked this question. Is it a little overrated? You know, is the changing of the seasons overrated?
No, I'm on the opposite end of this. I think the seasons staying the same is overrated. I've been down here. Listen, I haven't had a full back and forth, see what the cold is like, and be excited to come back. So there's that level to it. And this is my first year in Florida, first couple months. It's November. It does not feel anything like November right now. And it's very strange. It's kind of surreal.
I love it.
And it's nice. There's no doubt about it. I don't miss, shoveling snow out of the driveway. But it doesn't feel like time is passing. It's like you're in like a vortex
can
of
I
just
say
like sitting around here.
I love my job. I love our workplace, and I think this plays into it. It feels like I'm on vacation. I wake up some mornings, walk outside, go work out, go to my apartment complex. It literally feels like I'm on vacation growing up in Northeast Ohio out here. So I love it. Yeah, the changing of the seasons is overrated. I like fall. I don't think fall is overrated. Winter can go to hell.
Colin, when you go back to the Northeast, and if you borrow somebody's car or you rent a car, you got to scrape frost off your windshield, complete change of tone. You don't know what.
That's the wake-up call.
Yeah, you forget how bad that is.
Now, let me ask you this. Your blood thins out, and I'm starting to get a little bit of that now. I need my apartment, like when I originally moved out here, C-Cat, had to be at 69. Now, 73. If it's like 70, I'm like, I don't want to say freezing, guys, but I'm chilly.
Blood thins, I agree. My blood is thin,
like,
too.
I'm worried I'm going to go home in November. It's going to be 20 degrees outside. I'm going to be in some real trouble. Real trouble.
Yeah, it's going to be some fall weather this weekend. I'm actually going to be in the Northeast this weekend, so we'll see how I adjust.
It's like 60 right now, though, right?
It's been hot recently, but it's going to be in the 50s, I believe, a normal fall weather. So I'm curious to see how I react to that. I like it. I like the long sleeve weather, hoodie weather. But in terms of time passing, seasons indicates that. Cold feels like the end of the year. Getting warmer feels like you're edging closer to summer. When it's warm all the time, you don't necessarily have that. And I would say that's an adjustment for me. I don't know if it's good or bad yet. I don't know if I've come to a conclusion. But I can't say it's great. I can't.
Christmas got into like the low 50s, not last year, but the year before.
And Christmas, that time period, even in the Midwest when I was in Wisconsin, it was never that bad until you got into the January and Februarys. That's when it got really, really cold. Even in the Northeast, I even noticed this in the Midwest. When you're in November and December, it's still a lot of fall weather here and there. It's not as bad as people make it out to be early on.
He is right. But when I was growing up, that wasn't the case. We would get a white Christmas all the time.
That's rare nowadays.
Yeah, it's very rare. We would get a white Christmas all the time from, I remember being the first Christmas I remember when I was 4 years old, okay? So from about 4 years old, I'd say to about 13, for 9 years straight, probably 6 out of the 9 we had a white Christmas. Now, my God, I think it was, to your point, I think it was 60 degrees 2 years ago.
Yeah, so it doesn't necessarily get that cold and that terrible in terms of weather for the winter until that January and February area.
I told my folks, man, you guys are just going to have to come down here. My brother's in Tampa. I'm in West Palm. Let's meet halfway somewhere. Enough of the freezing like a snowbird up north.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Well, our friend Colin Russo, he went and saw a movie solo last night by
move.
himself.
Great
no
move.
lady friend, no friend. At what level of activity does it get weird
Now, hang on.
to go solo?
Let me pry. What'd you see?
So I was actually sitting in back here with CCAT yesterday post-show, and I'm like, I don't really want to deal with the election tonight. Let's see what's playing. And I just went through. I have a movie subscription, so I get movies for it's like $20 a month, and I get to see unlimited movies.
That's elite.
And it's not good this time of the year. I think I wasted my money because I don't go enough to make it really worth it.
Football, man, too much.
Yeah, it's too much. But in the offseason, I'm definitely going to do it. But I went to go see that Andrew Garfield. There's a romance movie out, and I like those type of movies.
You
There's
went
nothing wrong with that.
Dude, love rom-coms.
And it's not as much calm, more sad. But
okay. Whoops.
it was a good movie. It's Andrew Garfield, Florence Pugh. It's called We Live in Time. I liked it. I didn't think it was bad. There was not a lot to see. I already saw a horror movie that I wanted to see. Gladiator comes out in a couple weeks. I'll go see that. But I just went. I was like, hey, there's an open seat. There's a 6:30 showing at a Regal. I went. I was out of there at 8:20. I got back. I saw what's going on with the election. I ate some dinner, went to bed, woke up, new president. I don't know. That was my day. And so to that point, I want to get into this conversation.
Woke up, new president.
Hey, that's okay. Cool. New president. How about that? So from that perspective, in terms of doing things alone, I think going to the movies is completely fine alone, number one.
Agreed.
But now the question lies in what activity does it start to get weird that you do go alone? And the ones that we brought up, and CK, I want to get your blind reaction to this, is going to a sporting event alone weird?
Yes.
I agree.
You got to go with somebody.
I agree. No,
it's a shared experience for a reason.
I said obviously.
You can share with the other fans. There's something always to talk about.
I'm not striking up a convo with those people.
Those people.
Hey, that's my line. I told Colin, obviously for us, like in my past, in you too, CCAT, like obviously you need to go alone if you're reporting. So put that aside. I am with you. If you're going as a fan alone, I don't know.
I have no problem with it. I've done
weird.
it a couple times. Only basketball. I've never been to a football game alone, I don't think. But I go to basketball. I've gone to basketball games alone. I like it.
You say college basketball games. That's a little bit different as a student, though. Because, like, people just go and sit in the student section, whatever.
So I
would go and sometimes not sit in the student section. And I would just find an open seat somewhere.
Observe.
Colin,
take some notes.
I like that more than student section. Student section is a terrible location.
You guys will laugh at this. I am a little phony and fraudulent because I went to one sporting event alone, but there's context. So you guys are going to have to be the judge at the end of this. My family, boys, has been getting season tickets for the Browns for the better half of 50 years, okay? And this was when the Browns were 15 at the time. This was during 1-31. And I had everyone gave me their seats. I had about 15 tickets. Guys, I couldn't give them away. It was snowing. It was Christmas Eve. No one in the family wanted to go, so I said, screw this. I'm going. I'm like, I'm a Brown fan. I'm going. I went, and I saw the pierogi Prince of Parma, Jamie Meter, block the field goal against the Chargers and had the Browns win their one and only game. I made friends at the stadium. Actually, granted, I was sitting in my dad's seats. I knew people around me, so technically wasn't alone. But we were all throwing snowballs and snow in the air. A lot of fun. That was the only time I ever went alone. Kind of a big, you know what to everyone who didn't want to go with me.
I've been to a Packer game alone. Talk about a hospitable environment. Hang around. People want to give you some food. I got tickets with the old job, and I was there. I kind of just went. It was good. I had a good time. And Wisconsin Packer fan, I'm sure you've heard, the Green Bay Packer fans are like as nice as they can possibly get.
I mean, it's like the final boss of Midwestern nice.
Totally. So you could have a ball with those type of people. I've been to a Villanova Creighton game alone too. That was interesting. But so I've been to a couple.
What did you say?
The final boss of Midwestern nice. They nice you to death. And
everyone is
they
nice.
say weird words that don't exist.
Got news for you guys. Everyone in the Midwest is nice. I realized that down here that not everyone grew up the way that I did.
What activity does it get weird to go alone to? Going to a bar or club, going to a concert, going to the movies, going to a sporting event, mini golfing, bowling. I want to break it all down. 888-760-3776. What activities are weird to do alone? 888-760-3776. I want to continue the conversation next. It's Russo Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 1063.
ESPN West Palm is highlighting the best performance of the week, presented by Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Every week, a different team will be featured across ESPN 1063 and ESPN West Palm Play. The winning performance receives $500, courtesy of Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Do you know a team, player, or school with a killer performance? Nominate them by emailing highschool@espnwestpalm.com. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Go where the pros go.
Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys at 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-FREE. Listen, if you were in an accident, car accident, truck accident, slip and fall, trip and fall, injured on the job, workers' comp issues, call Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. They will fight for you. They do not get paid unless you get paid, and they will fight to get you the maximum compensation that you know that you deserve. Do not deal with the insurance companies on your own. That's impossible. They make it as such. Anajar and Levine will help you to take back control of your life. Again, you'll always talk about your case with an actual attorney. They answer the phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to help you to take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-3733. Car accidents, truck accidents, slip and fall, trip and fall. Call Anajar and Levine, my accident attorneys. Anajar and Levine, accident attorneys. Take back control of your life.
It's ESPN 1063, your home for live sports presented by Hard Rock Bet. Home of the Miami Dolphins, Miami Hurricanes, and all of the biggest football matchups throughout the week. Hard Rock Bet, it's Florida's official sports book. Try Hard Rock Bet now and receive up to $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not win. Hard Rock Bet, roll with us. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling, call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Does your business leave a lasting impression? Attractive, eye-catching signs help you stand out from the crowd and create a strong brand identity. Our team at Signorama West Palm are experts in helping your business get noticed and get effective signage in front of your potential customers. Our team can turn your blank windows or plain vehicles into money-making branding machines by drawing customers' attention to your business. So if you're looking to leave that lasting impression, call us 561-687-7993 or visit signoramawpb.com.
College basketball is coming to Sunrise. Catch a thrilling doubleheader at the 2024 AutoNation Orange Bowl Basketball Classic. Be there at Amerant Bank Arena on Saturday, December 14th as the UCF Knights take on the Tulsa Golden Hurricane and the Florida State Seminoles battle the Tulane Green Wave. Tip-off is at 2 p.m. Bring the whole family for a pregame party on the plaza. One ticket, 2 college basketball matchups. Tickets start at just $20. Get yours now at orangebowl.org.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill, when your friend bets against your team and the friendship. Or choose chill because you're drinking Coors Light with your buddy. Coors Light, choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Kaiser University's flagship campus, the 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach, extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees in the heart of South Florida. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 20 national championships, including the 2024 Women's Swimming and Diving Championship and 2023 football, lacrosse, and men's swimming and diving titles. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest.
Hey, it's your boy JC. Bad news, Chicago Bears fans. It gets even worse from here. We explain on today's brand new Questionable Call with Josh Cohen. Subscribe now on YouTube. Questionable Call with Josh Cohen. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, exclusively on YouTube.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
What events can you not go to or do alone? What activity is it that you cannot do it alone? You need to have somebody with you. Is that going to a concert? Is that going to a bar or club? Is that going to a sporting event? Going to the movies? I went to the movies yesterday alone. No problem. Not a social event. You're not there to mingle. 888-760-3776, the number to get into the program. That's 888-760-3776. We want to know from you, what is an event, what is weird to do alone? It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat, of course, behind the glass. 888-760-3776. We go to Jupiter. Pete and Jupiter, you're on Russo and Rizzo. Pete, what's weird to do alone?
What's up, fellas? Love the show.
Thanks, Pete.
My college roommate used to do this, which is the reason I moved out. He used to go to gentlemen's clubs alone by himself.
So, Pete, this came up. He went alone. How frequently?
Anytime he'd be bored, he'd be looking for people to join him. And when people would say no, it was just, a time kill, which, again, is the reason I moved out.
That's the reason you moved out?
Yeah. That was sort of the icing on the cake amongst other things. So
Got it.
Wow. So going to a gentleman's club, I agree, would be a little strange alone. Now, what about a sporting event, a bar, or club, or something like that? Is that weird to you?
No, I mean, I guess if you're a fan and you're into it, that's fine. Movies alone is fine, I guess, if you're really into movies, and sporting events if you're a fan. But the gentleman's club was a little strange.
So going to the gentleman's club and getting the ribeye steak and getting the lunch special, I think that's a little too far, probably.
No, Rizzo, that's your thing, though, isn't it?
Appreciate the call, Pete.
Can't say I've ever won alone. I've never won alone, but I'm 30 years old, guys. So
see, one just came to mind to me, and it's not that it's a social taboo to go alone and do this. It's actually more normal than not. But if you're going to go to maybe a casino, I think it's best to go with somebody else.
That is a weird place to go alone, right?
No, not at all. Like that's you make friends at the table, and like you have fun, and you play
shared
team
experience of losing money,
team blackjack. Oh, it's a great time.
I
but
just think
you have someone else there to say, "Hey, dude, it's like 3 a.m. Let's go."
Right.
I don't know. I'm not a gambler, so I'm off it. I don't go to I've never been to Vegas. I don't go to like casinos or anything like that. I would figure that's an event you have to go to.
Now, guys, I want to clarify with the bar thing. All right, I'm an openly binge drinking alcoholic, 3 years happily sober. If it gets to a problem, it's not weird. It's a problem.
I don't think
what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying, though.
There's a problem with going to the bar, watching a game, hanging out by the bar, grabbing a drink after work. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there is absolutely nothing wrong with
There's
that.
a level to it where it
I
gets
wanted
strange.
to say as an addict, it's sometimes can lead down the wrong path.
When
We'll
you're drinking to get absolutely destroyed and you're by yourself there, that might be a little strange.
I almost think it's, if you do it at home, in the comfort of your own home, and you do too much, there's no one to check you. Like, there's no,
You're talking about the safety side of it.
Yeah. I think it's
That
almost
too.
a sign of an addiction if you do it by yourself at home, because there's no one to say, hey, refusal to give you the next drink.
And
you don't get overserved.
A club is outrageous, right? Would you agree with this?
You go to a club.
Alone, not
bottle
knowing
service for one.
not knowing a soul. Yeah.
That's outrageous.
No, yeah, correct. And then vice versa, same thing with the casino for me. I know plenty of people with gambling problems, so if you're frequently visiting a casino like that, I wonder. That's all. That's it. Not weird. It's not weird to me. I wonder if there's a problem.
What about massages? Solo massage?
What?
What are you talking about?
Who would join you?
I don't know, a couple's massage. I would never
Is that true? Okay.
open the door and go in solo. That feels like you're gonna hang out with Rob Kraft up the road.
So massages
some quarterback.
massages. A couple's massage. I know are you in the same room for a couple's massage? You are, right?
Yeah.
And so that's different. So you know the person that you're with. I don't think other massages, unless you're in like a big barracks type room where there's 100 tables. I don't think there's. Usually you're in your own room for a massage, right?
So
girls do spa days and they go with two different. With
Colin,
other
I've
people.
had a Go
ahead, please.
So I've had an experience. All right.
Alone?
You're gonna open up about it?
No. We all we all got massages. Like my aunt is a professional masseuse or whatever, and she got my brother and my cousin and I massages to her place. Guys.
Okay, before we get, was it her who's doing the massage?
No.
Okay, good. All right, that's what it sounded like.
The point I'm trying to make is I can't sit still long enough, and I'm way too ticklish for a massage. It was an absolute waste of money. Not that my aunt paid for it, but I
What
can't
type
do
of
a massage.
Did you not center on a certain part of
Like
your body?
dude,
Your
the
back
back,
is
the shoulder,
ticklish?
the shoulder. I can't do it. I can't do a massage. I tried.
Some people are like,
I
they just
tried.
can't deal with the hands on them, and it just makes them uncomfortable. So I understand that. Is that part
It's
of
not.
it?
It might be that, but more or less more ticklish than anything, and like it like hurt to me. I don't know. It hurt to me, and it was not pleasant.
Yeah, when I tore my...
And I said, I got it. I'm done. I'm all done, guys.
Closest I did to a massage was when I was getting physical therapy for my torn shoulder when I was in high school. And like they would massage the heck out of it.
Oh, it hurts.
And it would hurt really bad. It's a little bit different type of massage when you're rehabbing.
Correct.
But yeah, a massage can certainly hurt.
Dude, it's bad. And like like I'm like, God, I'm sore. Feel the knots in my back, and someone will go to try to massage. That's like, dude, get off me. Like, I am that guy.
So when I was in Morocco, I was in Marrakech, Morocco. This was April 7th-ish of 2023. I was with one buddy, and we were traveling together. And we decided in separate fashion, so I don't know if this is an alone thing, but there's a story here with the massages. We did a hammam. And for those who don't know what a hammam is, it's an Islamic massage. And it's big in Muslim cultures, and it's a bath, steam room mix, massage.
Kind of like
mud.
a schwitz? Kind of
mud.
like
Yeah, mud is incorporated a lot. So I had no idea what this was. So it's like the $12. Everything is cheap in Africa, so it's like $12 for like an hour or like 2 hours. I'm like, all right, this is great. So we do it, and it's these two Muslim guys, and they make us undress. And we have to put on these basically see-through like garments.
Oh,
that
drop
are
trowel? Jeez.
everything. They're not basically see-through. They're these very thin. I don't want to say like, I don't know, brief underwear type things. And you go into this room. They have buckets of water. It was very strange. And these two Moroccan guys are just dumping you with water, covering you with mud, in and out. It was me, my buddy, and this Belgian guy. And this Belgian guy was there by himself, but we made friends with him. It was cool. They shower us. It was a wonderful experience. And those guys knew everything about Trump. It was very strange.
Oh, I thought you were going to say about like you. Yeah, they know everything about you. Undress in front of them.
It makes you think how famous and in terms of a celebrity United States presidents are. But they knew everything about Trump. It was unbelievable. And I'm in Marrakech, Morocco, in some side alley getting a hammam.
Were they supporters? Or was it more like, hey,
one was a supporter, one didn't like him.
I see.
But it was weird. But I did that type of massage, and it's a lot of mud, which I thought was different. I felt very strange in the moment, but it felt great after.
Seacat, it sounds like the Arabic form of a schwitz.
Yeah, I can't speak on that, but maybe.
It was great. It was great.
A schwitz is like a bathhouse, like a
steam
steam room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they have those in Turkish cultures and stuff like that. But everybody does it differently. But it's sort of like that. But instead of the actual just going to the bathhouse and hanging out, you'd go and these guys would be doing everything for you. And they basically locked me covered in mud in that steam room, and you couldn't get out on your own. And they just leave you in there. And I'm like on death's door, like banging on the door, like get me the hell out of here, because I can't deal with those steam rooms for that long.
Oh my God. Dude, it's funny you say that. Dude, it's not even is it? No, I'm thinking of it is the steam room. I get sauna and steam room mixed up. Dude, Colin, I sat in there for 20 seconds. I thought I was going to have a heart attack.
You got to get used to it.
Dude, because like there's like settings, and I remember my cousin jacked that thing up.
Oh, so you had one that you could adjust.
Yeah, and I'm like...
Yeah, that's very strange. But the hammam was wonderful. But that was a situation where I was mostly alone with two Moroccan guys for the duration of my massage.
So did you know you were going to have to get fully naked before this?
I heard because we met some girls that were traveling as well in Morocco, and they recommended it to us.
Okay.
And the way they explained it was they got like slapped around and stuff like that. Not like, I'm serious. They got like slapped around, and it was like very physical.
Okay.
And it wasn't like they weren't in pain or hurt or anything, but it was like incredibly physical. So they told us, like, we have to see what the guys' version is like. They were staying in the name's escaping me. It's a hostel, what they call it in a riad in Marrakech. And they told us to try it because it got very physical. And like, I got to see what the guys do. And it was physical. I wasn't like, I wasn't getting beat up, but like slapping you around, like the whole, like, what is it? The chops on the massage. They do that. They're slapping every part of your body. Every part of my body was essentially massaged except for like the main areas that you don't touch. And it was fascinating.
Pay extra, yeah.
It was fascinating. And then after you're done with your basically the bath, they sit you down on the table and do a traditional massage. It was I thought it was lovely.
Because I'm putting myself in that spot. If I didn't anticipate getting naked, I don't know how do you get out of that situation if you don't want to.
You're there.
You're just okay.
You'd be surprised. You're in a moment like that where you're in Africa.
Okay.
Just like, we're here. Let's do this. One in Rome. Like, right? I don't know.
So.
Maybe that's not the right perspective on it.
I think so. I think
but
in the
like,
moment
that was my perspective.
You're swept up in it. Like right now, we're in America. We're at work. Yeah, getting naked is intimidating as hell.
That's my perspective on it. Is like you got to try anything once, and so I was willing to do it, and it was a good time. And then I don't know. That was my little Morocco hammam story. But
it's awesome, dude. What an experience!
Yeah, it was cool.
That's why,
it was cheap. Oh, it was cheap. Massages are expensive.
I envy Colin for like gallivanting Europe and Northern Africa. Like, dude, I wanted that's one thing I never really did was like travel the world. I never did.
You never considered it in college?
The problem is I loved being in the student media so much. You know what I mean? And like I was very involved on it to where I didn't want to take a full semester off of it.
You felt like you were missing it, but in hindsight, you probably should have.
Dude, oh my God.
You're not missing anything.
You're
not missing anything.
Tell my dad and mom all the time I made a huge mistake not traveling Europe.
Yeah.
Huge mistake.
I had good perspective on it, and I'm glad I traveled. And I got to see, I got to go to Egypt, I got to go to Morocco, so I've been to a number of places.
Dude, Egypt is now, I have very high expectations of Egypt just because I'm a huge history buff on it. One of my favorite animes, Yu-Gi-Oh!, is based around ancient Egypt as well. So, like, I have really high expectations for Egypt. Am I going to be met, or am I?
So, people are up and down on this. Based on what other people say, I'm not sure if you've met a lot of people who have been to Egypt, but what I've seen, like, social media and stuff like that, everybody says Egypt's terrible.
Oh.
But I've been to Egypt. I loved it.
Okay.
I thought it was great. And I wasn't in Cairo. The fourth biggest city in the world?
How were the tours? Did you do the pyramids?
I did
you do
the
the whole
tours.
9 yards?
You need a tour
How
guide.
big are they in person?
Oh, it's great. The problem is Giza's a dump, and it's in Giza. It's not in Cairo. Giza is a rundown city. But
Khufu.
But I did like a day tour, and somebody had us for the whole day. I think it was like $60, and they had you for the whole day. It included lunch. It included the historical museum in ancient Egypt, right in Cairo. It included a morning trip to the pyramids, camel rides, pictures, and that whole thing. And you kind of get taken because what they say in Egypt is everybody tries to sell you something. That there is a salesman in your face every 5 seconds. And if you don't have somebody who's a local or you don't really necessarily know how to
take
walk
advantage
through
of you?
Not necessarily. They're not going to rob you or anything. But they're going to try to sell you, oh, you can't go this way. It's closed.
I see.
You can't go this way. You got to pay $20. You got to come with me. And they try to sell you something. Same way in Morocco. You just got to know how to operate.
Yeah.
But I thought it was great. Cairo is a very nice city. It's huge. And it's so cheap. The economy is so poor. I flew in Alexandria. Alexandria is 3 hours north of Cairo.
Yeah.
I took an Uber from Alexandria. Alexandria's a dump. But I took an Uber from Alexandria, Egypt, which I flew into from Rome. And it was a cheap flight. I got like a $100 round trip. Alexandria to Cairo, Uber. 3 people split 3 ways, $8.
Wow.
3 hours.
Stop it.
You'd Uber from one side of the city to the other side of the city in Cairo, which is not close. Maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes. 30 cents. 30 cents.
Why is Cairo significantly like Alexandria? The video games I've played, Assassin's Creed Origins.
Cairo has
Alexandria was the best city out of all of them.
Well,
in the games.
And Alexandria has that library that you could see the ruins of. That's very cool.
They burned it, right?
Yes,
they burned
it burned down during the Alexandria Great Rebellion. I don't want to do a history buff thing really quick.
You're good.
But what a lot of people say is one of the most important moments in human history was the burning of that Alexandria library because there was so much Egyptian
history,
architectural advancements, language advancements. All of their knowledge was in that, and it said what people say is that it held back human development and, intelligence development by centuries because they lost all of that knowledge in that rebellion.
And ancient Egypt was centuries in front of other societies.
Now, what was interesting about Alexandria is, comparatively to Cairo, there's tourists everywhere. Okay. A lot of British, but Alexandria, I was there for about a day and a half, 2 days. I didn't see one person that wasn't a local, which was cool. But everybody spoke Arabic, and it was very hard to get around.
I see.
So some people had a grasp, but it is a very Arabic-oriented city where it's difficult to get around. Egypt, there's a little French, a lot of Arabic, but also everybody knows English to some degree. There's our tourism lesson.
Yeah, fun,
for those looking to go to Cairo.
Great.
I got story. Yeah, I love it. But we'll close out the program next. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
PNC Bank is committed to making a difference in the South Florida community. That's why they offer military banking products, champion veteran-owned businesses, and provide support to local organizations that empower veterans and their families with the resources they need to succeed. PNC Bank. See how they can help you at pnc.com/military. The PNC Financial Services Group, Incorporated, all rights reserved. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Hi, this is Scott Smith with Smith Ball Baez and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. We are a Florida civil trial law firm that specializes in the areas of personal injury and wrongful death. Our offices are located in Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie. Our lawyers have litigated thousands of matters at the Palm Beach, Martin, St. Lucie, and Indian River County courthouses. Our lawyers, paralegals, and other numerous members of our legal team live in Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast cities and towns such as West Palm Beach, Port St. Lucie, Lake Worth, Palm Beach Gardens, Palm City, Jupiter, and others just like you and your families. We are a statewide recognized law firm, but it is your community and your families that we live and associate with on a daily basis. Our most satisfying achievement is when we know that our legal power has helped a fellow member of our Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast community secure a fair and just huge result. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith Ball Baez and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith Ball Baez and Prather, help is just a local phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
A Wednesday edition of Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. It is pitch black outside all of a sudden.
Yeah.
5:48 p.m. There's daylight savings for you.
But Colin, there's a palm tree, so it's fine, right?
The weather's nice. But what are events that are weird to do alone? Is something like mini golf weird to do alone?
Yeah, you got to call the cops on that guy. I worked at a mini golf course.
So you saw a couple solo guys, and what'd you think?
Shipped him out of there. He said, no, not here. Stay away.
Really? Okay, what about bowling you're okay with?
If you're practicing, maybe you're in a league.
All right.
Gentlemen's Club got brought up from Pete.
Gentlemen's Club's a little strange. Have you been to a movie by yourself?
I personally have not. I've got in an argument with my girlfriend when I hated the new Winnie the Pooh movie, so I left and went to watch The Meg by myself.
But she
in a
was in
different
the
theater.
building. She was in the building.
Now, boys, I've been to multiple movies by myself, but the best one I ever saw alone, Avengers Infinity War. Infinity War was unreal.
Yeah, it was a great
Because,
movie.
I missed it because my buddies went and saw it, and I missed it. And they were like, dude, just go alone. Way worth it. Just worth it.
100%.
So, I missed out on that theater experience. I've
you
heard
weren't
you can't
involved
replicate.
in that? Oh, boy, that was
I watched
great.
it at home after the fact.
That was must-watch. That was
It
That was
was.
the last time it was really must-watch get to a theater. Like that, Oppenheimer, Top Gun, and the Avengers.
Can I give you another one? Can you guys watch these movies and give it a chance? Is Dune. Unbelievable.
Oh, I love Dune.
I've
I
watched
love Dune.
Dune.
I saw-
Dune 2? Isa Al-Gaib.
Yeah.
Unreal movie, dude.
I saw Dune 2 2 weeks early at an early screening in Fitchburg. It was
Dude,
great.
hang on. Hey, the Bene Gesserit.
Yeah, that made me not hate Timothy Chalamet. I used to not like him for reasons I can't explain.
The voice, take the knife.
But so that was a must-see movie in theaters. But like I go to the movies all the time by myself. I see things just for the sake of seeing it, and it's part of the reason that I had the subscription. I had one with AMC, now I have it with Regal. But I love it. There's not a social event. I go and I don't get any concessions, so I literally will have like spend nothing. I will bring my water bottle. I'm just going to see a movie.
C-Cap. I have to get popcorn.
But imagine going as much as I do, and every time getting like an icy and a popcorn.
Oh, it's expensive, but
you can't
it gets me every time.
Go to the dollar store and I get one of those Arnold Palmer tall cans and I put it down my pants.
Oh, that's what I did in the old days. And then you get like some candy with that. Oh, that would be great. You go to like a CVS or something.
I got to shout out Big Dave, man. Big Dave, as you can imagine, kind of a bigger dude. He would have these cargo pants. Kid you not, man. 5, 6, 7 cartons of candy. He got a calzone into the movie theater before, and we would sit on the edge. And
all right, if you're inconsiderate if you have a calzone in the movie.
That is where I draw. You can't have prepared food.
Guys, prepared food, the whole 9 yards. I looked at him. I go, Dave, you're going to get us in trouble. And what he would do, he would leave all of his trash to the right of his seat because we sat on the edge. I would walk past it, just start dying laughing every single. I'm like, Dave, you're going to get us kicked out one of these times.
Ooh,
were you a sneak into movie theater guy?
I wasn't. I wasn't.
I got kicked out so many times.
You should just sneak yourself in, like you didn't pay for a ticket?
Or not rated R when you were a kid?
So the last time I snuck into a movie theater was 2 summers ago. We bought a ticket for Oppenheimer. It was the Barbenheimer summer?
And you saw Barbie after you didn't want to spend another ticket?
Yeah.
That's movie hopping in my bit. Yeah, that's fine.
But
you bought a ticket to get into the building.
Yes. The worst experience of my childhood life was when I went to the movies with my buddy and his parents. Went to a dollar store, 7-Eleven or something, got a bunch of candy for the theater. They checked his mom's bag walking into the theater.
Is that legal?
Yeah, I
didn't think it was. Apparently, at that Cinema 6, it was.
What'd she have in it?
All the candy.
And they took it? They confiscated
They confiscated all the candy in front of us.
Wow.
Absolutely
They used
petrified.
to be super anal about that, but nowadays they don't, because I bring in my water bottle. There could be anything in there, and they don't care. So I've had no problem with that.
You got in there, man.
But
you got in there.
I remember sneaking in. I snuck into Straight Outta Compton when it came out in 2015, and I bought tickets to Mission Impossible 5 Rogue Nation, which I've already seen, and or Minions. That was also in theaters at the time. And I would sneak in. I snuck back into the same theater 3 times in one showing because I kept getting kicked out and brought back to my original theater. And I kept going back because I wanted to watch the movie. I've already seen Mission Impossible. I'm not going to sit here and watch this. Like, I paid for a ticket. I'm going to get back into Mission Impossible. Straight Outta Compton. So that was one I always got kicked out of. But
first movie you ever saw in theaters?
I can't remember.
Mine.
I've seen so many.
Mine is Zero to Hero, Hercules. The Disney Hercules, amazing, dude. Huh. Elite movie, honestly.
You ever
movie.
walk out of a theater? The movie was so bad you just couldn't handle it?
Yeah, I walked out of Cars 3. I walked out of the 5th Pirates of the Caribbean.
I love those movies, by the way.
I love those movies, too. I did not love the fifth one.
Was that the Trench, the Mariana Trench one?
I don't know. Is it Dead Men Tell No Tales? And Cars 3, I have problems with how they handled that movie. But
did I walk? I definitely have. I can't remember off the top of my head. Oh, actually, you guys are probably going to make fun of me on this because everyone loves this movie other than me. Naturally, I'm usually that guy. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was one of the biggest pieces of garbage I've ever seen.
I thought it was overrated, too.
I walked out of that. Okay,
the ending was good. So the ending got good.
The ending was ridiculous. The ending that I ended up watching 2 months later, I remember watching that movie again and going, what is the point of this movie? And then I realized that's what Tarantino movies are. It's like
revisionist history is what he does.
Right, but the only Tarantino movie I ever liked was Pulp Fiction, elite movie. But Reservoir Dogs, thought was very overrated. That movie, very overrated. Kill Bill, very overrated.
Oh, no, Kill Bill's good. I'm so mad it took me until about 2 years ago to watch Kill Bill for the first time.
Have you seen all the Tarantinos?
Probably not all of them, but I've probably seen a fair bunch.
You've seen Inglourious Bastards?
Yes.
Have you seen Pulp Fiction?
No.
Actually, can I get Inglourious Bastards was pretty good.
Inglourious Bastards is excellent.
Really funny.
That's one of the That's one of the great movies.
That's more dark comedy in my opinion. Agreed.
Sure. You know, I've been in a theater where somebody died.
No.
Stop.
Allied with Brad Pitt and Marion Cotillard came out in 2016. I was with my parents. Somebody went to the theater attendant and said, this person's not moving next to me. Dead on site. Very strange.
Jeez.
You'd think I'd never go back to a theater. I think I went to see that movie the next week. It was,
Wait,
that's crazy. A crazy experience.
We got 10 seconds. Did they stop the movie, though? Like,
they gave our tickets back, but you had an option to see it. It's been Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3, a Wednesday edition. We'll see you tomorrow from 4 to 6. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Feeling too intelligent after listening to Unsportsmanlike? Balance it out with Theoretically Speaking weekdays at 2 on ESPN 106.3.
Whoa!
Bet live with Hard Rock Bet. Real-time wagering till the very last play.